Welcome back, everyone. Thank you very much for your patience. We're having a hybrid event, so it is, of course, natural that such technical difficulties may occur, but we hope that this did not disturb your experience overall. Now, we are back at the session e-participation. And here with us today, we have a number of speakers from all over Europe. And I hope that you're going to enjoy the discussion. As you know, digital innovation can really radically transform public service delivery, as we just heard from our previous speakers, but also, of course, the democratic decision-making and citizen participation in the actual social change. As witnesses of the global pandemic of COVID-19, we can see how a variety of public administration from the region, from EU and from all over the world, planned or sporadically, in a way, are increasingly experimenting with the creation of digital platforms, digital tools to enable all the citizens across their countries to access the relevant public information they need, but also to participate in some very important state processes more easily and from the comfort of their homes through the internet. However, as we may have witnessed ourselves, these solutions are not always well planned. They're not always as sustainable as they should be, and they do not always meet the needs of the citizens, which is the crucial point. In such cases where institutions fail in a way to provide these mechanisms for civic participation through the internet, in highlighting the citizens' needs, providing them with the space to express their views, to participate in decision-making at all levels, or simply taking their own initiative to address a particular social issues. It is the citizens themselves who create these mechanisms, or in our next speaker's case, the digital tools and platforms. With us here today to share successful stories of e-participation in the Balkans and from Europe, and to show us how civic initiatives online have brought significant changes within their own communities and have improved citizens' lives. We have MAJA CIMERMAN, the general manager of Today's a New Day from Slovenia, Creech, the chief executive of MySociety from the United Kingdom, PERCI, project manager of Democracy Plus from Kosovo, Marija VASILEVSKA, here with us in person, the project manager of Center for Social Innovations Blink 4221 from North Macedonia, and hvale, the closer than ever strategy facilitator coming from Association for Progressive Communications. Without stalling any further, hoping that MAJA can hear us, I would like to invite MAJA CIMERMAN from Slovenia to share with us the tools they have designed for civic e-participation, among which is also, some of you may know it, the Parliameter.
Yes, hello. Thank you, Mila. Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to present some of our work today.
Just a second until we make sure that we can also hear MAJA here.
Hello.
Okay, we can see MAJA. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me? No? You can't hear me?
You can't hear me? Yes, perfectly. Okay. We're just adjusting the video. Hello.
Hi. So should I start or you want me to wait a bit?
No, right now the video is good, so you may commence.
Correct. Thank you, Mila. Thank you for the invitation and this opportunity to present some of our work here today. My name is MAJA. As you said, I'm from Today's a New Day. We're a civic tech organization from Slovenia. We started as an informal group of activists, programmers, enthusiasts in 2012, and since then we published more than 70 different campaigns and projects where we try to use a lot of humor and gamification, kind of trying to tap into our programming and design skills to achieve change. We also do a lot of work in area in transparency and participation, trying to create space for meaningful civic participation. And that's what I'm going to shortly talk about today. Okay, I'm just trying to, okay, thanks. So our first major project is Parliameter. Parliameter is a digital platform for all information concerning the work of your national parliament. We created Parliameter because we felt that our national parliamentary website is pretty bad. It's insufficient in offering information, and it offers information in a user-unfriendly way, in a way that actually discourages participation and creates a lot of frustration among users instead of increasing political participation and information gathering. So we created Parliameter to address exactly that. And we scrape all the data from national parliamentary website and present it on Parliameter, not just in a prettier, nicer way, but also in a more user-friendly way. So that means that we allow users to search through data. We allow users to compare data, so they can, for example, compare MP voting records, parliamentary parties records. They can compare speeches, attendance, and so on. So Parliameter is not just interesting for citizens, it's also interesting, or even more so, for researchers and journalists. This is an example of collaboration with Slovenian National Agency that decided to implement Parliameter in a way that every time they mentioned an MP, a user could hover through their name and they would get like a small Parliameter card with some of the data about that MP and an opportunity to click on that card and get more data from Parliameter and hence access news in more context. Another tool that even more directly leads to political participation is Consul. Consul is a digital solution for participatory budgeting that was developed by Municipality of Madrid for their own needs. Because it's open source, we adapted it for the needs of Slovenian municipalities. So just shortly, if someone doesn't know what participatory budgeting means, it's a way of municipality allocating a certain amount of funds in a way that allows citizens to suggest projects of how those funds should be used, and then eventually also voting on which projects should be implemented, and hence having basically the power to distribute or how part of municipal funds will be used. So digitally implementing participatory budgeting, we think, was especially important in the last 2 years because of COVID. A lot of in-person participation or voting was not possible. So digital tools actually allowed the projects to go on and happen despite epidemiological risks. We also think that participatory budgeting online encourages participation by certain groups that otherwise would have not participated in person. Now, we know from personal experience, just by developing digital tools doesn't mean that citizens, researchers, journalists, or public institutions will actually use those digital tools. So that's why I think it's important to mention that, and also that we as an organization, whenever we develop digital tools, we also put a lot of thought into developing campaigns, both for those digital tools, but also more broadly campaigns for encouraging transparency, digital participation, and so on. So one example of those such campaigns is Transparency Ranking of Slovenian Municipalities, where we looked at all Slovenian municipalities and analyzed how open and inclusive and transparent their municipal websites are. And then we ranked municipalities according to that data. This has really helped us to bring the conversation about municipal transparency, local transparency to the forefront in Slovenia, because it because it allowed us to move from just this anecdotal evidence of, you know, all municipal websites are horrible, to actually having data that proves that there's a serious lack of digital transparency on local level. Because, for example, our data shows that on average, municipalities achieved only 30% of all possible scores in our research. And even the highest ranking municipality achieved only 60% of all possible scores, which are quite bad, which shows that the situation is quite bad and calls for further action. Another example is campaign for participatory budgeting. 3 years ago, before local elections, we invited all candidates to commit to implementing participatory budgeting if elected for a mayor. And 56 candidates for mayor actually became mayors, won the election. And we made sure in the past 3 years to put a lot of pressure on them through local communities, through cooperating with journalists, to make sure that they keep their promises, or to make sure that they know that we know that they made this promise, and keep reminding them that this is something that they committed to. And I think this campaign has partly contributed to the spread of participatory budgeting in Slovenia. 3 years ago, maybe three municipalities had implemented participatory budgeting, while currently it's 35 municipalities that are doing participatory budgeting. So yeah, this is shortly about some of the digital tools and some of the activities we do in terms of transparency and participation. And I'm looking forward to maybe going into more detail in discussion later on.
Thank you very much, Maja. After we hear all of the speakers, there will be space for questions or comments from the audience, both from the venue in Skopje and via Zoom. Our next speaker is Mark Creech from MySociety, which is a UK-based social enterprise which operates digital services used by over 10 million people each year in over 30 countries worldwide. MySociety builds and shares digital technologies that give people the power to get things changed across 3 practice areas, among which, of course, democracy, freedom of information, and better cities. Mark, I hope that you can hear us, because we're very eager to hear about some of the best practices for e-participation that you can share with us. Some of which for Fix My Street, they work for you. What do they know?
Sounds good. Thank you. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
We hear you perfectly, Mark.
It's great to be here this morning. Can you see the screen okay as the slides are presenting?
On Zoom, yes. Unfortunately, in the venue, we do not have that option, but we can hear you perfectly.
That's a shame. No problem. Well, I'll get started, and any questions I can sort of give a bit more detail to describe what's on screen. So, yeah, as Mila said, I'm Mark Creech. I'm Chief Executive of MySociety. MySociety is a UK-based charity, and we've been around for about 19 years, and we're one of the sort of founding organisations for the civic technology movement. And we operate some very substantial services in the UK, but we also, because all of our technology is provided as open source software, that it's used very widely around the world by lots of other partners and organisations. And that's a kind of key aspect of our work, is that when we develop services, we want them to be used. We want them to be used widely in different countries and by different organisations, and to make sure that the work we do has as much impact as possible. So probably the services we're best known for, They Work for You, which monitors the work of the UK Parliament. That's also been replicated in dozens of other countries around the world. Especially, we used to do quite a lot of work in sub-Saharan Africa, providing sort of similar parliamentary services. FixMyStreet.com, again, which has been replicated in many places around the world. That's a local community service for anybody, any citizen, to be able to raise an issue and make sure it gets sent to just the right person or just the right part of an organisation, a local authority, a council, whatever part of the public sector is relevant, to make sure those issues are actually dealt with promptly. And whatdotheyknow.com, which is our freedom of information software. We have versions of What Do They Know running in almost 30 countries around the world, where we allow any citizen to make use of access to information laws to request information from government. So over the past few months, we've been going through a process of I guess, sort of, we're quite a self-critical organisation and trying to really think through what type of impact we have and where we can improve. And so there's the whole sort of strategy piece we've been doing, because I think we recognise that technology is much more widespread now. People have much more mature expectations of what that technology can provide, and it's possible now to have a more collaborative relationship with those in government, but also still hold those public bodies to account as well. So that's quite a kind of a sophisticated area of our work. So we start from the idea that people can and want to work together to build a fairer society, and the web can really help do this at scale. So I think it's important to have that sort of confident, optimistic starting point, that people do want to work together to improve how we organise and how decisions are made on our behalf and so on. Linked to that, I guess, is how we do that. Our role, we really see our role as repowering democracy. So we try and use our digital and data skills to put more power in more people's hands. It's not just about holding old power to account. It's as was touched upon already, it's broadening out those who have access to power and make sure they're actually able to make use of it in their day-to-day lives. And as we've been sort of interrogating where we need to change, we're looking at our own organisation, and there's 3 changes we're making over the next few years. One is, rather than just designing for individual citizen needs, we're really starting to think much more broadly about the needs of society as a whole, and how people can organise together, how more participation and participatory methods can really help enhance representative democracy. As I mentioned already, we're trying to put more power in more people's hands, so help people understand who has power, how that power is exercised, and how they might have more power themselves, either individually or collectively within a community. And the third shift is putting more active work into actually prizing open institutions so they're better able to embrace participation. Through the work we've done over the past few years around in participatory democracy, one thing that I think is very clear is if an institution, a government body, whoever it might be, is not actually open to responding to sort of participatory exercises, then more often than not, the type of recommendations that might come from a citizens' assembly, for instance, just aren't acted upon. And so making sure that there are people within the institution willing and able, they actually have the skills to be able to act upon that greater participation is a really key part of our work. And how we do that, sorry, is we work in partnership. We work with a lot of community organisations, with institutions themselves, to make sure that they're all able to harness this digital technology in service of civic participation. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail because I'm somewhat limited in time, but some of the key behaviours we adopt is we really look to build community everywhere. We really have a sort of drumbeat of experimentation. We're always trying to develop new concepts and new ideas, but we're very focused on the service design and actually the running of services as well. So sort of that equity and inclusion is really key, making sure we really reach the furthest first and don't just create services which cater to those who are already well serviced by government. We really want to use the work we do to broaden out and democratise access to a much higher degree. Very quickly, I'm just going to give us a very quick tour of some of the services. Not dissimilar to Parliameter, we run theyworkforyou.com in the UK. That monitors the work of the UK Parliament. It does three things. It lets people know who their MP is. We take the daily record of Hansard, the written record of what's been said in the chamber, and we present that back. But we do it in a way that we give some context to how votes are actually made, so that we can we gather together votes over a number of different parliamentary sessions, so you can understand how your MP has voted on a particular issue. And then the third thing we do is we make it very easy to share that information on social media, email alerts when your MP speaks about a particular issue in Parliament and so on as well. So we're just making the information more accessible, but also giving it to a much wider audience as well. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Hopefully you can still see that okay. Another companion service is Write to Them, where Write to Them, you put in your postcodes and it tells you who your elected representatives are in that particular area. Sorry, let's go back. And so it tells you who your councillor is, who your MP is, and we allow people to enter into direct correspondence with those elected officials as well. So this sort of service is not a mass emailing service. We very carefully make sure that it's all about individual correspondence. So again, the key benefit of this service, it improves the quality of communication between citizens and their elected representative, but it also just helps people understand who those elected representatives are in the first place. We also run freedom of information services, which I touched upon already, where citizens can make freedom of information requests to any of 35,000 public bodies across the UK. And we release all of this information publicly. So we release all the correspondence. So they've made a freedom of information request. Anyone else can benefit from that information as well. A lot of these FOI requests are used within journalism and investigative activity, such as how the Olympic Stadium was transferred into private ownership with West Ham Football Club and the money involved in that. So that's quite useful, these type of, to complement sort of journalistic activity. Also, individual citizens use it. A community group in South London use freedom of information to query the budget decisions of their local council because the local council isn't particularly open. So again, we're always looking for different ways to support other groups and other individuals to make use of their rights, but to do providing the technology to really enhance the very practical way. FixMyStreet.com is one of our longest running services, and it provides a very sophisticated set of services for directing queries about public issues, about nuisance, graffiti, potholes, litter, to make sure it goes to the right organisation responsible for dealing with those issues. So it's a very sort of early stage community level of civic technology, which is a really good way for sort of people to get more involved in their local community. We also have a very active climate programme as well, because when we're thinking about the really big issues that need to be dealt with, it's not a lack of science that's driving the climate crisis, it's a lack of democracy. we need to use these services can be really beneficial in creating an environment in which our elected officials and politicians can have the confidence to take much bolder decisions against the biggest issues of the day. So we have a new piece of work I encourage you to have a look at data.climateemergency.uk, is where we've pulled together all the local action plans from all local councils across the United Kingdom and make it very easy for people to understand what local action has been taken in regards to the climate crisis. And then just finally, we have a very active programme of research. If you go to research.MySociety.org, we have all of our reports over the previous years, which look at everything from participatory budgeting to parliaments in sub-Saharan Africa to who benefits from civic technology. And all through next year, we're running a series of online seminars at TIC.MySociety.org to really have a very active programme of bringing different groups and different individuals around the world together to collaborate on important civic technology challenges. So that's a really quick overview of the work we do. Very happy to answer any questions, and there's a lot more at mysociety.org as well.
Thank you very much, Mark. I hope that everyone was able to follow the presentation of Mark via Zoom. Similar to what Mark mentioned to Fix My Street practice from My Society UK, our next speaker will share about a digital platform, ndreke.com or popravi.org, which citizens in Kosovo use to report issues that need to be fixed within their local communities. Here with us to tell us more about it is DEBORA PERCI from Democracy Plus Kosovo, which is also one of the ICETA grantees and network members who support the citizens of Kosovo in using public e-services through their e-government support center. And one of the services that they provide support to citizens for is exactly this one. DEBORA, welcome. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Mila, and thank you very much to the previous speakers. It's an honor to be part of this panel and to discuss our common challenges, but also, and most importantly, our success stories. As you mentioned, my name is DEBORA PERCI. I'm from Democracy Plus, which is an NGO in Pristina, Kosovo. And we are a fairly new organization, one could say, but we have really been working a lot towards digitalization of Kosovo society, and we try to reach our goal and our mission through integrating internet. So Democracy Plus has been established in March 2016, and we launched the Ndreke platform, or Popravi in Serbian, which basically means fix something. We launched this platform in March 2017. So in a few months, this platform will be 5 years old. And so it's not a new platform, and citizens are fairly familiar with it. As you mentioned, the Ndreke platform is very similar to to the My Society platform, because actually it is built upon that application. So what we did is that, and I will try to share my screen, so maybe you can tell me if it's working or not.
It's working on Zoom, yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is the Ndreke platform, and because of official languages in Kosovo, we also designed the same platform in Serbian language, which is Popravi, but it works totally the same, and it's actually known as just one platform. So what the platform does is it allows citizens to report issues and complaints about public services in the municipal level. So citizens can report anything in the categories of trash collection, potholes, lack of public lighting, missing street signs, damaged sidewalks, or anything else that the municipality can and should address. They can report it very easily in the platform. Thus far, we have registered citizens have reported 33 reports. And in addition to those reports, 1,600, which is a milestone, apparently today, have been fixed by municipalities in Kosovo. So the platform is available for all municipalities, and the way that we have designed it is that we have made it so that public officials have a unique access to the platform, in which case they can update the platforms if they fix something, or they can give response to citizens regarding their reports, either the time it's going to take for the report to be fixed, or if the report does not fall within municipal competences, they can give that reply or that answer to the citizen, so that the citizen knows where to go to ask for a certain problem to be fixed. As the previous speakers mentioned, when developing such platforms, we always have to have in mind that we want to make it user-friendly for citizens to use it in their daily lives, but also we need to have in mind that we need to work with public officials for these platforms to be successful and to be used continuously, not just in certain periods. That's why Democracy Plus's role is kind of bridging the gap between citizens and municipal officials. What we do is we maintain the platform, and we also advocate for reports that we see have gone unnoticed by public officials, or that have surpassed a certain time and we have gotten no response from citizens. While we were developing the platform, we met with citizens, we also met with public officials, and we designed it in a way that made it easy for both parties to use and for both parties to communicate with each other. One of the aspects that we had to change that is a little different from MySociety is that citizens in Kosovo really appreciated if we could offer them an option to report anonymously. This because municipalities in Kosovo are rather small and everybody kind of knows each other. And when the option was for their name to be public, citizens were reluctant to report certain issues. And the moment that we offered for citizens to report anonymously, the number of reports increased significantly. So that is really one of the factors that we believe has made this platform so successful this far. Additionally, we continue to have meetings with young people. We continue to have meetings with environmental groups, with people who want to be active in their community, but they just don't know how, or maybe they're not aware of the mechanisms they can use. And of course, we still face a lot of challenges. One of the biggest issues, which was also mentioned in the first part of this conference, is that citizens lack trust in online platforms, because for some reason they just see it as a less efficient way to report their complaints. However, we have made sure that in our cooperation with municipalities, we give legitimacy to the reports of Ndrece and Popravi. So every report that goes in the platform is registered within the municipality, and it should have an answer, or it should be addressed within a certain period of time. So if I could just show you a little bit how one report would look. So this is the list of municipalities. Kosovo has 38 municipalities and they are listed, so people can report in whichever municipality they live in. And this is a case of one report that has been fixed by the municipality of Pristina. So we allow citizens to upload up to 3 pictures so that we understand what the issue is and how urgent the issue is to the municipality. And so this citizen has reported potholes. And then they also updated us with the fact that a time has surpassed and the municipality still hasn't addressed their issue, but then after a time, municipality provided these pictures which see that the street has been fixed, or it has been fixed at a point that it is easier to pass through. what Ndrece and Popravi have allowed us to do in aspect of our relationship to municipalities is that we have been able to draft reports and to analyze some issues such as contract management, especially in trash collection, because that is the category that citizens report the most. And also, as you saw in the picture, sometimes the fixed issue is not, in this case, it is good enough for cars to pass, but in some cases, the issues are not fixed properly and citizens are not satisfied with the quality of the work. So we also send those reports back to the municipality and we request a clarification for certain reports. So this is basically what Ndrece and Popravi have been doing in Kosovo for the past 4 years. This year we had local elections, so we are expecting new mayors in some municipalities, and in some municipalities the same mayors will continue their mandate. Nevertheless, we will ensure that the memorandums of understanding that we have with municipalities as of now will continue for the next 4 years, and that our relationship with public officials continues in the same manner that it did before.
Thank you very much, Debora, for your presentation. I'm not sure if we have this kind of a tool in North Macedonia, but I think that all of us would be very happy to just report a hole on the street and then have the municipalities respond to us with a photo of a fixed street. Thank you very much for that. And coming back to Skopje, here with us today, we have MARIJA VASILEVSKA from Center for Social Innovation, Blink 4221, to present the application M-Community or M-Zajednica, which is an interactive digital platform intended for enabling a better communication between the citizens and the municipal administration.
So hello from my side. Hello to all participants here and all participants on Zoom. As Mila mentioned, I'm MARIJA VASILEVSKA. I come from Center for Social Innovations, Blink 4221. We are a team of enthusiastic that are oriented into development of digital solutions for addressing social problems. We are working in 3 fields. So we are developing digital solutions related to education, culture, and also to support the functioning of the institutions on national and local level. In the past several years, we have developed a mobile and web game for high school students for allowing them to see the effects, the negative effects from the radicalism and that can lead to extreme violent extremism. Also, we have developed several mobile applications, and we are now in process of developing a VR laboratory lab for skills, and also we have developed virtual reality gladiators battle for the National Institute of Stobi. What we are trying to do is to work closely with creative industries and to find a specific solution that can be, as the other participants mentioned, user-friendly, to be open for everyone to use it, and to improve the democracy in general, but also to improve the services that are offered from the institutions. So, for example, when we developed the VR application, Gladiators Are Back in National Institute of Stobi, we provided the application to the National Institute, and now they are using it, and it is a kind of a tool that has get back the youth into the National Institute of Stobi. Here today, as Mila mentioned, I would like to present you our M-Community. It's a kind of a mobile and a web platform, a digital platform that allows the citizens to communicate directly with the municipalities. We have developed this platform back in 2018. Late year after that, this mobile application and web application received the European Youth Award for some kind of perfect solution for citizen participation on a local level. Until now, 3 municipalities are using this app. The pilot municipality is Municipality of Karpoš. Then before 2 years, 2 additional municipalities have enlarged the family of M community. So now the citizens from Municipality of Kočani and the citizens from Municipality of Valandovo is using it. What is interesting in this web platform is that it consists of mobile application. You can download it through Play Store and iOS, and also you can use it as a web application. It is connected directly with the municipalities sectors. So all the employees in the municipalities which are using it has direct contact with the application. Each citizen can open his or her profile, can use it on the way that it report a problem. For example, as mentioned before, if I notice a hole in my municipalities, I will report it the hole directly with posting a photo for the problem and choosing the specific sector that is responsible for this hole in the particular municipality. The sector is receiving a notification that I, as a user, as a citizen in that municipality, I have been reported a problem, and they are answering me back. The process of answering back to the citizens on the reported problem is not one-sided. So it's not like they are answering you only once, but they are also answering you when the problem will be solved. When the municipality or the specific sector will solve the problem, they can report it to you or inform you back that the problem has been solved, and they even have the opportunity to post a photo that the problem is solved with like before and after solving the problem. Working closely with the municipalities, we have even enlarged this platform with allowing them to analyze the data that they are collecting on municipality level. We know that the municipalities, according to the national and local legislation, are collecting many data, and those data can be used while they are making their decisions. And we have integrated an option for them to use the collected data through M communities for their further planning, so they can see which sectors are mostly covered with citizens' problems, and maybe in the future the municipality can allocate more funds for that specific sector if needed. In addition to this, M community has been enlarged in the past 2 years with providing digital services to the citizens. So the municipalities can share the possibility for applying for subsidies through M community, and the citizens can apply through M community with an online application for such subsidies. This has proven to be such a success in Municipality of Karpoš. Most of the citizens that applied for subsidies for bicycles have applied through M community, and also in Municipality of Valandovo they have now 2 active subsidies, and yesterday was the last day of the online or the digital subsidies application for students in Municipality of Kočani. In the next period, we are working on enlarging this community platform with more municipalities. First in line are Municipality of Gurcha and Municipality of Aerodrom, and we are also working in other municipalities out of Skopje. We are really happy because we're closely monitoring the usage of M community on both sides, on the side of the municipalities and on the sides of citizens. in the last year, we have witnessed the changes in the communication between the municipalities and the citizens. It has proved that the citizens are getting back the trust in the municipality when they will see that the officials from their municipality is answering them, is providing them an information that they wouldn't have had if they did not report the problem. And on the other side, we are providing information from the face of the place for the municipalities. We are supporting the citizens to be and together with their municipality to build better society and better community together. In addition to reporting a problem and application for subsidies, M-Community has an option to propose solutions. So each citizen have the right to propose a solution to the municipality directly through M-Community. So we have in the past quarter, we have witnessed situations where citizens were sharing their ideas for the municipality's budget for 2022, and we would be happy if the municipalities included those proposals in their budgets. All in one, we think that this is a perfect combination and a perfect platform that can allow direct communication between citizens and municipalities. And basically, as Deborah mentioned, we are providing and we are bridging the gaps between the citizens and the municipalities. And also, once again, I must highlight that we from Blink have witnessed how the trust in the municipalities have been returned through for the users of communities. We are seeing the things have been changed. We are working directly and closely with the municipalities. We had also local elections in the past month, and we came back to the same municipalities once again in order to see how our cooperation between through communities has been can be enlarged, how we can support the municipalities further on with communities. I think that the most crucial thing is working openly and constantly and providing feedback for all sides, providing feedback for the municipalities on how they are using community through providing them specific guidelines, but also through asking them what they need. We are always asking municipalities what they need more, what can be additional support for their work, because we know that they are always struggling with capacities. They are always requesting more people to be employed in the municipalities, and we are trying to show them that community can and is making their job easier and is a tool that can enhance the cooperation between them and the citizens, because the citizens are the one for whom the community and the municipality is working, not for other things. We have witnessed some challenges, I must say, that is mostly related with the legislation issue. For example, on a national level, the legislation mostly is providing a solution that or a way that the institutions and the citizens can cooperate among themselves, firstly through written documents, but the municipalities that are using community are really aware that it can be that communication can be more effective if they include digital communication with the citizens. So we are seeing the window of opportunities there. As I mentioned, in the next period, we're working on enlarging the community family with more municipalities. in the Skopje region and also outside of Skopje. And we are also thinking of how we can upgrade the community. Last but not least thing is that we are always working on promotion, and we are always working on how we can bring community closer to the citizens. We are using the social media, we are using the media as a platform for sharing information, but also we are using the websites and tools for communication that the municipalities that are using communities have, such as their official statements, official some kind of magazines or whatever they have. We are happy that we have the opportunity to present them community, and we are open for any kind of proposal, idea, cooperation regarding this and all our other digital solution.
Thank you very much, Maria, for this. Now that we see that there is this kind of a tool in our country, I'm very sorry that not more municipalities have adopted it. And this is an open call for all the municipalities in North Macedonia, because I know that some of them are actually listening to following our conference. This is an open call for all the municipalities to contact Blink, and because they are already in the process of contacting to approach them and to see whether they can adopt this tool within their own municipality and ease in the communication between the citizens and the public administration. Thank you very much for that. Now that we've heard about a variety of tools that are used for encouraging e-participation in the region and in Europe, I would like to tackle an equally important topic when it comes to e-participation, that being the digital rights and digital freedoms and gender equality, of course. Our last speaker in the session, as I announced previously, is coming from Association for Progressive Communications, which is an international network of CSOs dedicated to empowering and supporting the people working for peace, human rights, the development and protection of the environment, all through a strategic use of the ICTs, or information and communication technologies. Hvale is here with us today to talk about the current positions of the organization on the pertinent issues such as inclusion and in particular the aspect of gender equality of the development of the ICTs, as well as, of course, upholding and advancing the digital rights.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I hope that the voice is clear.
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Good. It's a pleasure to be, even if not physically, but together with all of you in Macedonia and the region. So all this conversation were really interesting, no? And there is a word that recurs, and that's citizens or institution. And sometimes, we hear citizen and we forget the diversity of citizen. So this is kind of a reflection around what does means to be a citizen. Citizens have gender, have age, belong to class. So we will focus, what does it mean to reflect on gender? Is it just about women, or it's about full participation of LGBTIQ people? How is Europe and the region? So if we step a bit back into the pandemic, what we saw and we see is that we were thinking, Europe was thinking, and also our community in the Balkans, that we were somehow, we were in a good position technological wise. We were participating in all the big conversation. And then the pandemic happened, and the pandemic bring us back. The pandemic tell us that we are equal, but not all equal at the same way. So more than talking, yes. So more than talking about platform and tool, I would like to reflect on how we have created spaces, each of us, during the pandemic, spaces that are safe, because we have seen, and I would say instead of a platform, we have seen an hashtag #MeToo. around violence against women, we have seen, and gender diverse people, we have seen so many instances of claiming and reclaiming spaces. So if we talk about gender and if we talk about equality in participation and engaging, the first thing is how easily we can participate when we are different, we belong to a majority, if you define yourself as a woman, or a minority, if you define yourself as belonging to one of the community, LGBTIQT community. It's really how we can participate safely in spaces. And we've seen that it's not that easy, no? If our voices or our bodies are not belonging to a tradition, they are silenced, they are attacked. So what we have witnessed as APC together with our members and partners is the creation of spaces. So spaces that can be the Zoom, or in our case, for example, Big Blue Button or Jitsi, spaces where the community can come safely and talk. Creation of knowledge, no? Knowledge matters. Knowledge that it's about issue, but also knowledge about the technology, how we can use the technology safely. And I would say if we look at the way gender and LGBT people have invested themselves into these years and belong, it's really in creating spaces of cares, in creating spaces, small spaces, in hacking the system. So instead of creating one platform, what you will have, it's a myriad of platform. It's a group that is on a WhatsApp, or a myriad of content creators on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, that share a different way of being. And I think that would be also interesting to reflect what is the role of open source society. There is a community large and very old that it's called FemServer, no? And that provide and trying to support with their knowledge around technology and the ability to create and manage infrastructure to create and hold spaces. We have in Europe wide very old communities, but small, and precariousness. So what's interesting is the precariousness of all our spaces and places, because they are very often maintained on a volunteer base. I'm talking about the activists. Are not spaces that live for one day. No, it's not the event. So how we create those spaces that are not only big? How we create, how we make sure the gender is taken in account in all the platforms that we were talking? Are we looking in all these spaces to see what is the real power? Do have each and every citizen power? When we try to fix a hole in the street or bring in light, I remember a platform that were thinking, if you do not have lights on certain street, it increases the risk, no, for a specific part of the population, female population or gender non-conforming population, anyone that is somehow different from what is perceived the normality, no? We had worked as APC with the NLNet Foundation, which is one foundation that work around creating platform and working with programmer. And what we have noticed is that the access to create and invent technology with a gender perspective is far away in Europe from happening. It's not only about having women holding a space, no? Holding a space or having a company, but it's also the threshold, how you can become a company, how you can have within your user group people that belong to different communities and that can bring their needs. And this is really, when we think about access, it's access to information, access to invent, create, and participate to technology, but also access to connectivity. If you belong and you live still in a homophobic family and there is only one computer, this person will have really serious problem during the pandemic to come online, to talk, to fight. So how are we creating all these different spaces? And I think that is still for now, when we come online, it's like going to a riot. It's not easy. Should be easy, but we know that there is a kind of putting our own shields and know that we are going there to change, to transform, but also to be questioned and to be harassed or at least belittled. So I think reflecting on gender, reflecting on the contribution of LGBT, it's really embodying full our idea of a society, a citizen. So a citizenry that it's just one fit all is not a good citizenry. And maybe we needed to invest and to insert in all those platforms that we do, this kind of additional perspective to practice. Because as far as for now, what we have hacking the system, a lot of advocacy to get platform understanding and being more sensible, and really activists and people flooding space with information, but living always in these parallel domains, no, in hacking and so how we can become really fully citizens and make these citizens, I would say, rainbow wide. Thank you.
Thank you very much, hvale, for your presentation. I think you highlighted some very important issues that we should all be aware of, especially when creating such digital opportunities for participation. We should have in mind all of the groups, target groups, and vulnerable groups, especially. This rounds up the time for a presentation from our guest speakers. So now I would like to open the floor for questions from the audience. Yes, okay, so we have two questions from four questions actually from the venue. So I would just kindly ask you to present yourself first, and then of course, ask the question, just let us know who you would like to answer.
Thank you, Mila. My name is Irena Bojajevska. I will be a speaker on the next session. My question goes to Ms. MARIJA VASILEVSKA. Thank you for your presentation. And coming to what I'm going to present in the next session, it was really a great pleasure to hear what you managed to achieve so far. Can you please be more specific? Which data sets are you using for your AIM community? You mentioned they're coming all from the municipalities, but if you can just enlist the categories of data you're using, and also can you please give us some more information? How was the way towards opening those data sets in your experience? Did you have difficulties? Did you assist the municipalities in opening the data, or they had their own capacities to do so? Thank you.
Thank you for your questions and for sharing your thoughts with us. Basically, we are using the data sets that are provided from using the AIM community. So all citizens, when they will register, they are making their profiles based on on the principle closely related with the social media, but it's not the same as social media. They are providing their basic data and they're opening their profile. And when they are reporting a problem, they are reporting problem in specific sector. And those sectors are connected with the sectors that are under the municipalities. For example, a sector for ecology, or sector for education or stuff, things like that. And there is those reports are going directly from AIM community to the through the administrative panel to the municipalities officials. So we are using the data sets that are provided only for the communication and from the usage of AIM community. Since the municipal officials are returning back to the citizens how they address those problems, we are also having the data from the municipalities. We have not open data sets, but we are only providing a data analysis that are existing and have come through the communication between the citizens and the municipalities. So the administrative panel, that is community for the municipalities officials, are dividing the collected data through gender, through reported problems, through sectors that those problems have been reported, and through categories on which they have been reported. In addition to this, I didn't mention that M-Community is providing possibility for push notifications, so the municipalities are sharing information through M-Communities to the citizens. So also we are using those data. We have developed data protection privacy that is based on the national regulations in order to both sides to be safe, and the data that are gathered through M-Community is going on external server. And basically, after we will develop the M-Community for the municipalities, we are providing the platform for them. We are not having or collecting those data as Blink, but we are just providing them, and we are supporting them if some technical issues can arise or stuff like that. So to wrap up, we are using just the data that has been collected through using M-Communities from both sides. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. We have another question on the left first, and then we will come up to this part.
Digital transformation. Ако има кој да одговори, би го представил тоа како прашање. Ако нема кој да одговори, би го представил како предизвик со идеја како можеме да го... Океј. Неколку говорници овдека спомнава дека digital transformation предизвикува и воведува промени во општеството, уклучно во животот на граѓаните, во животот на вработените, и така дале. Званичното име на оваа компонента на англиски е Digital Disruption. Disruption во англиски контекст се вика нарушување на постојната состојба, која може да биде добродојдена или може да биде недобродојдена. На македонски, кога би го превеле Digital Disruption во Digital нарушување, автоматски одименува втората група недобродојдени промени. Факт е дека диджитална трансформација иде напред и нема назад. Digital disruption е една од последиците на digital transformation и сега е проблем има ли смисла да digital disruption во негативен контекст, нарушување на начинот на живот на граѓаните корисниците, се третира како напад на демокрација? Значи, повторувам уште еднаш, јас сум на мислење, digital transformation назад нема. Промените кои доваѓаат во принцип се добри, али за некого не се добри. Наедноставен пример. Тргнете на патување по Европа и ако барате туристичка мапа, ќе ви речат мобилен, туристичка мапа нема. Слегнувате од аеродром на полноќ, се качувате во автобус да купам карта, нема карта, имате мобилен. И многу такви наивни примери. Океј, во методологиите за развој на софтверски решенија, во digital transformation, стандардни се деловите така наречен user experience и customer journey. Првото значи да кога дизајнирам веб страница, тоа да не ја прави некој млад паметен момак, член на хакатон, него во групата да биде и еден пенсионер. Океј? Customer journey значи да во групата кога го дизајнира решението, да не се фокусира само на решението да се имплементира, него да се води сметка, а како тоа ќе се користи. И за това, значи, не да се решението имплементира, па ондак стейкхолдерите да ги тренираме, него да стейкхолдерите дојдат во почетокот. Ова не е измишлјотина, сите што работите на грантнови, сега се појави една тема concept paper, кој уствари е структурата, повторно едно ново име, старо име уствари, теорија на промени. Digital transformation, решенията во принцип се генератор на промени. Би имало смисла, значи, овој концепт на засегнатите страни да бидат вклучени во нулто време, да е придржување до методологијата за развој на софтверски решенија. Ова не е критика на групата во Хакатон, ја ви ов рекламата, мене не би ме примила. Тамо се барат млади, паметни, без чувство за ризик, без чувство за регулатива, за да бидат креативни. Не вклучува ова што спомнав. User experience, представник и customer journey. Ова не е само измишлјотија енглеска. Ние имаме една стандардна македонска стара поговорка. Не прашувај гатало, тоа е консултант, него прашувај патало. Okay? Благодарам, ако бев агресивен.
Ви благодарам многу, Љубомир. Thank you very much for your input and actually highlighting an important aspect of digital disruption, which, if you may allow me, I will personally include it, and through digital inclusion. Digital disruption will decrease in case we open up ourselves to different categories, supporting them in obtaining to actually be digitally included, to have access to the digital tools, to internet, to know how to use them ethically, and to have all of those digital skills. But, and as hvale says, multiple discrimination asks for multiple inclusion. So thank you very much for highlighting this issue. And for next year, perhaps we will open up a hackathon to a bigger variety of target groups. Although we do have mentors, yes, this is a very, very important aspect that we should take in consideration. So thank you very much for that. We have one more question in the back, and then in the front. Just your name and surname, please.
Поздрав до сите, Стефча Дечев, Фондација Импактнет, а воедно доаѓам и од Министерство за животна средина. Минатата недела баш пишував една колумна за цивил, беше на тема дигитализација, и кога видов дека Metamorphosis, нели, постојано ја држи актуелна оваа проблематика, знам, ми беше една од првите обуки добиена од Metamorphosis за креирање на веб страници уште пред 10 години, и среќен сум што е повторно, бидејќи бев одсутен од Македонија, сум на овој вид на активности. И да би сакал и веќе втора година како давам допринос, бидејќи кај нас и во институцијата работам на дигитализација на институциите, вклучен во процесот што го работи владата, но би рекол дека во овој свет на дигитализација или во трка што се вели, формула на 1, ние флегуваме со фиќо и како да постојано сакаме на ист начин да продолжиме да ги користиме сите придобивки што ги нуди дигитализацијата, на ист начин ние на стар начин сакаме сето тоа да продолжиме да го спроведуваме, наместо да го спроведеме оној нов начин. Морам да признам дека постои огромна инертност на институциите или на личности во институциите за да се овозможи дигитализацијата да дојде во напредна фаза. Еве втора година како работиме на полето на дигитализацијата и чувствувам дека тука сме, затоа што постои прекрасен тим еве во законодавство, во МИЛА што се вели, кој што работи на поле на дигитализација и форсира да се случи овој предизвик, но едноставно во институциите се случува постојан отпор или ќе промениме одредени закони, па чувствуваме дека само што сме ги промениле законите во собрание, на пример, ќе се смени политичка структура инфраструктура, па повторно ќе ги промени тие закони, се вртиме во еден магичен круг, а за наредната година постои одредница дека треба да се случи имплементација на таа дигитализација конечно, но знаете како, јас и на највисоко ниво директно на премиерот во влада тоа го реков, за да ја спроведеме дигитализацијата, ние мора првенство на пример да возможиме за корисниците на тие за да се случи дигитализацијата мора да се дигитализираат институциите. Тука се вртиме значи уште еднаш во одреден круг. Затоа што голем број на институции на пример не се ниту опремени да возможат користење на придобивките од дигитализацијата. ДМС системот што еве се по втора година како е во одреден магичен круг, наместо да се користи, само 20 на институции се вклучени во тој процес што би овозможиле дигитализација нели на сите решенија, дозволи се што ќе треба корисниците на услугите да го имаат од наредната година. Само 20 на институции се во тој процес и се уште не сме ни почнале. Се уште ниту законски е завршен целиот процес. Затоа имав и, може би овој, извинете, малце подолг коментари или прашање. Министерот беше тука и моето прашање беше и насочено кон МИЛА или лично кон првиот човек и како поддршка и кон него, но и како прашање и предизвик. Која е стратегијата да се забрза тој процес? Затоа што чувствувам дека е втора година како дел од институција. Сметам дека не постои јасна стратегија, сметам дека се закочени процесите таму некаде и таа инертност се повторува постојано и можеби е подобро да се соберат тајти експерти со одредени правници што сме по институциите и во една недела да се реши целиот процес и целата промена на законодавство, отколку да се формираат постојано нови комисии. Знаете, кога не сакате да се заврши работата, формирајте комисија и нова комисија и буквално се вртите уште неколку години во еден магичен круг. Затоа поддршка или повик и до министерот, можеби ќе го слушнава прашање или коментар, подобро да се формира во влада одредена комисија, една што се вели за сите министерства и да го реши тоа во една недела, како процес, отколку да се одолговлечува целиот овој процес, затоа што не го гледам лично инволвиран како во целиот процес, не го гледам крајот на сето тоа и не гледам дека народот би можел да ги чувствува тие бенефити, значи како да се сака да се продолжи да се возиме во фиќонија во овој свет на дигитализација. Ве како конкретен пример, бидејќи работам и хоспиталити, менаџирање хотели, веќе десетина години мислам дека функционира веб страницата за пријавување на гости странски преку интернет до МВР. Така. А ние како да сакаме хартијата да си ја користиме и понатаму, па наместо да им се возможи на хотелите сега да ги пријавуваат гости за странски, значи хотелите повторно и да ги пријават гостите преку електронски пат, ја мора и картончета да го однесат до МВР, така, го земам како еден банален пример. Или чувствувам дека како кога се променува одредена политичка гарнитура, како светот да почнува кога ќе дојде новата едноставно на одредена позиција. Имавме, знам, еден позитивен пример во инспекторатот за животна средина, кај што можеше електронски да се пријави одреден проблем, така за загадување, веднаш да се реагира до инспекторатите, па се променува структура и сето тоа спласнува едноставно и го нема никаде. Друг проблем што го отворив исто и во влада, мора да се постави унифициран момент на веб страниците. Господинот предмалку што спомена, значи не можете да отворите една страница на една општина, дозволата, не знам, за градежна да ја најдете у некоја десета со 10 кликања што се вели на веб страницата, на некоја веб страница сето тоа да функционира со еден клик. Значи мора да постои унифициран момент на користење, значи спојка на генерациите. Господинот предмалку зборуваше за сето тоа. И третиот момент мора да се овозможи поголема стимулација на новите мерки. Значи, еве, пред 3 дена имав состанок со IT компанија во Веле што го пресели седиштето од Скопје. Извинете на израз, дескопјанизација да прави, затоа што 40 на млади луѓе вработува во Велес, кои што сака да работат во Велес, не ќе да работат во Скопје, се овозможи сето тоа и ми викаат, Стефче, ајде да овозможиме поддршка на обуки за млади луѓе или и за повозрасни луѓе, да се овозможи нивно како се вели пренасочување на одредена структура доколку сака да ги користат придобивките, да им овозможиме обуки на сите нив. Како тоа да го сториме, значи. И затоа велам, на IT секторот, за да може младите да ги задржиме едноставно тука во Македонија, мора да се овозможи олеснување на сите тие плаќања што се вели, мора да се поддржат младите кои што работат во IT секторот, да се обезбедат олеснителни околности, дури поддршки, субвенции, намалување на даночните стапки за целата таа опрема, сите тие услуги што ги обезбедуваат, затоа што еве кога живеев во Малта, Малта стана една точка одредница во европски, во светски рамки, каде што луѓе од целиот свет ги преселија едноставно своите седишта на компаниите во Малта. Значи чувствувам дека кај нас би требало да се отвори државата за влез на пари преку овој сектор. Во Велес, на пример, имаме млади кои што беа насочени да прават милиони евра со тие лажни вести ширења. Зошто? Затоа што тој талент на млади луѓе не беше опфатен, па своето знаење го насочи кон креирање на лажни, веб страници за лажни вести. Значи ние мора да овозможиме канализирање на тоа знаење, да ги поддржиме тие млади едноставно, и затоа е потребна таа поддршка, првенствено и финансиска, но и институционална, со тоа што ќе обезбедиме со овакви теми за брзување на процесот на дигитализација, пред се преку законодавната рамка, промена, но и да не се враќаме назад и назад, туку едноставно да се направи јасна стратегија кога, каде, кој е задолжен за сето тоа и да не се вртиме во постојан круг. Извинете што земав малце повеќе време.
Така, ви благодарам многу на вашиот thank you very much for your input. These are actually the issues that all of the people here are working on, and it's a pity that we do not have more representatives of institutions, maybe on higher levels, that can actually hear this, but I believe that they are following it. Some of them are following it through the conference, but we also have media who can also share this on a higher level and perhaps raise the awareness on these issues among the, if I may ask, among the common citizens as well, so that the pressure can be much higher, because the benefits of digitalization, as we can see, are quite big. We have no time anymore, although we can take one more question.
This is not absolutely necessary. I mean, we don't have to do this if there's no time, but I just thought it might be a roundup of the conversation at the end. Chandresa Suleimani from Metamorphosis Foundation. I'm so sorry. Of all the tools that are being created with enthusiasm and, hope that they will be used with the best of intentions, I want to highlight again what hvale was saying, that, how much do we take care of do we really enable more vulnerable groups to actually use them at the end? If that is the idea, we keep saying that it's for it's a way to engage people that wouldn't otherwise be engaged. Do we really do that? So I wonder if, in this case, Blink and maybe Mark can answer the question, or DEBORA, about do they keep record of these data? Do they really manage to meet this goal of making this tool available to groups that would not otherwise have the same access to those services offline, if I may say? Is it just to make it the same service easier for anyone who would use it, or does it really meet the goal of making it more available for the vulnerable groups? And then maybe just an add-on question, if there's time to, if they answer the question, how much do they really see institutions taking ownership of these applications? It is the final goal. I understand that we do those things with the intention of helping institutions to bridge this communication with the institution, but do they really do that? How necessary are we in the process as they implement this, or do they really take ownership of this and make the best use of it in the future? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andresa, for the question. We have Mark here and Deborah as well, and MARIJA, who would like to answer. So, Mark, would you like to start first?
Yeah, I'll be very brief so others can contribute. It's an excellent question. I think from our experience, if you just build these services and just put them out there, it won't change anything. All that will happen is the people that were already empowered, that were comfortable dealing with government, will have a more efficient channel to do what they were already doing. So it's absolutely critical that during the development phase that you actually carry out proper research and discovery with a broad representative set of people from the type of groups you really wish to cater to. And within that as well, it doesn't just end when the service has been created. It's absolutely critical to use promotion and marketing to actually reach these people and let them know what's possible and how they can use it. One thing we find is creating user groups so they can help each other make use of the service is a very useful tool, especially when you match up more experienced users with people who maybe aren't so confident in making use of these services. So it's an excellent question, and one that I think is this a defining question for this type of civic technology if it's going to be successful in the future.
Thank you very much, Mark. Maybe we can have Deborah and then MARIJA.
Yeah, I will also try to be very brief. We do believe that with Ndreće, we have given access to people who otherwise would not have this access, because all Ndreće requires is that you have internet connection. That's all it does. So as long as you have some device that is connected to the internet, be that laptop, phone, tablet, whatever it is that you use to be connected to the internet, you can report an issue on Ndreće.com. This has helped immensely with people who live in more rural areas, who, in order for them to report an issue, would have to physically go to the municipality and report said issue. Also, it gives access to younger people, people who are under the age of 18, who otherwise would not be taken as serious if they met with some municipal official, because again, the anonymous aspect of the platform gives public officials no access to personal information. They don't know if it's a man or a woman or a boy or a girl or what age the reporter is. They just know that there is an issue that needs to be fixed. Have we done enough to reach or to expand our target audience? I don't think so. I think that there's more that we can do, especially for reaching out to people in the rural areas, reaching out to elderly citizens who are also active on phones, but they just don't know how to use the internet in their advantage. So I believe that we are on in the right path. However, we do need to maybe analyze more, or try to analyze who is reporting on Ndreće and who we need to reach out more. Even though the reports, the reporters on Ndreće are anonymous to public officials, the team of people who administer and who maintain the platform have access to emails of users or to emails of reporters who report issues. So in order for us to gather some data that would tell us age and gender of reporters, we would have to kind of directly contact them, because otherwise we just assume from their emails. We don't have a concrete personal information that would help us identify which groups are being more active and which are not. However, we also try to have periodic meetings. Sometimes we target young people, sometimes we target people in the rural areas, sometimes we target elected officials. It depends on the project, and it depends on the time that we have, I mean, in the municipality and in the time that we have at our disposal. However, we try to keep the groups as diverse as possible, because truly the application is user-friendly for different groups.
Thank you very much, Deborah. And just shortly, MARIJA.
Yes, I would like to highlight that there are challenges, and we are all faced that and some kind of provoked by the challenges. But what we in Blink are doing is we identify that there are certain group of people in each municipalities in which municipality in which we are working, and there are some kind. We are always calling them ambassadors for changes, and they are the ones who are bringing the change in the municipality, and they are fighting always for more. they're asking for more. And when they see the benefit of the solution, they will always push for more. And I would like to really acknowledge those citizens. And I for sure believe that it's the same situation in every institution, either it's on national and on a local level. We have to identify those group of people, and we must work with them in order to spread the change that we would like to see. Regarding the different groups of citizens and whether it is approachable for them, I must say that the data that and the statistics for the users are disaggregated based on gender in M community. And at the beginning, I must say that M community was first mobile application, and that we enlarged it with web application. That is because we foresee the opportunities and the need for that in order to make it closer for all groups of citizens. And one additional thing is that what was M community in the beginning? It was like application for the younger group of citizens. It has now become application and digital platform for all citizens. We are now seeing and monitoring that even, as I may say, older group of people are also using it. And they're also happy to use it and to see that the municipality is providing them feedback and answers on their reported problems. And I must say that we must monitor everything that we are developing. We should not be like always strictly closing the gaps and then not continuing with following the tools that we have developed. We must partner and providing the ownership to the institutions. And we in general, we in Blink are sharing the partnership with the municipalities, and we are seeing that they are feeling the ownership of M community. And because of that, we have come so far, because we are seeing them as our partners, and we are seeing also the citizens as final beneficiaries, and together we are working for improvement of the communities in which we are living.
Thank you very much, Marija. I would like to close up this session by thanking all of the speakers and especially the guests for their comments and questions. Right now, we have a short coffee break for the participants in the Skopje venue, and we will be back at 2:55 for the final session of the day, open data when demand and supply meet halfway.